Hey, it's John from blogtrainingclassroom.com, and I just wrote an article, Do You Really Get Penalized for Duplicate Content? And as I was writing the article, I put up an example here about a blog article which I had written a while back, and someone had emailed me, and they loved my article so much, they emailed me and asked me if they could republish the article on their blog, word for word. And I said, sure. And so the question then is, that's duplicate content, right? And is that going to hurt my particular blog article that I had? Because this particular article I had went viral. It was on Lifehacker, it was on the first page of Delicious, it was all over StumbleUpon and everything like that. And this was a few years ago when I wrote the article. So because it went so popular, I noticed a lot of just like scraper websites had copied my content and pasted it onto their websites. So there were lots of different duplicate articles out there of my article. And the question then is, well, does that penalize my article? And I talk about that here in this article right here. So if you want to come read the article, that's great. I'll link to it below this video here. But if you're on YouTube, I'll link to it. But let's take, for example, the article I was just looking at, and I mentioned it down there below. 8+ ways to train yourself to be creative. Now that was the article that I had written, which went viral, and I got a ton of links to it. And I'm using the SEO Quake for Firefox add-on, and that lets me look at how many, what a page rank is and how many incoming links it has to it. Now, unfortunately, this kind of hurts my example here because I've just changed my blog over to a new domain name. So all the incoming links to it is not going to show up right now. I do have a redirect, so anyone who went to my old blog will be redirected to this one. But it had about 200 links, as I recall, to it, maybe more. And it had a page rank of 3. So let's just assume that for a moment that's what it is. And then I have these other websites here, like this one here. Let's open this one up. And what you'll see is it's a duplicate article of my blog article. And this is it right here. This is the exact same article. And I don't remember if I gave this person permission or not to copy it. It's been a few years, but so why then does my article necessarily beat out other articles? And does all these copies of my article hurt my article here? The answer is I don't get penalized. No, there's just an evaluation going on in Google's eyes. Because if you were to type in, let's just say, train yourself to be creative, what Google does not want to do is return on all 10 results here the exact same article. Like, look, here's mine, it's number 1, that's cool. And then here's another one, which this person probably just mentioned my article. Let's see here. Okay, it's taken a little while to load, so let's not worry about that one right now. But here's some other people who talk about training yourself to be creative, and they're not all my exact same article. Here's one here, and this is not my article, so that's good. So that's what Google wants to do, is it wants to return various articles on the subject. If all 10 articles on the homepage were my article, just duplicate copies, would you want to use Google? Probably not. So the key here to the duplicate content issue is just which website does Google think is the most relevant and the most important? Which one has the most links coming to it? Again, if this was like 200 links. And which ones don't necessarily have as many links coming to it? So that's how Google basically will take the duplicate content issue. It just looks at all the copies of the websites, which in this case here are the copies right here, 8+ ways to train yourself to be creative. Here's a bunch of copies of my website. Which one does Google think is the most important? And that usually comes from, is your website, does it have like a high page rank? For example, if it was problogger.net and they published the article and I published the article, neither one of us had backlinks, probably the problogger.net article would be more important in Google's eyes than mine, because problogger.net has a much higher page rank than blogtrainingclassroom.com/blog. But if my article had a ton of backlinks coming to it, then mine might beat his out. But what it's not going to do is when someone types in train yourself to be creative, it doesn't want to return John's article and Darren Rose's article on ProBlogger.net. It just wants to return one of them. So that's kind of the little insight here to the duplicate content issue. It doesn't necessarily, Google doesn't necessarily penalize your article if there are duplicate content, duplicate copies out there of it. It just evaluates. It evaluates, is your article, was it first of all? That kind of helps if your article's first. But then also, is it more popular than everyone else's article out there? So if you have any questions, just click the link down below this if you're watching this from YouTube, and you go to my article, check out the article and leave a comment, and let's talk about it.